Hello everyone, my name is Trevor, I go by TheMrTrails, welcome to the channel. In today's video, we have Dauntless 1.9.4 patch notes as well as a roadmap update, and we are going to check out the State of Dauntless post that was actually released last week, and I didn't talk about it yet, so we're going to talk about that as well. Drop a like on the video right now. It takes you longer to hesitate about dropping a like on the video than it does to actually like the video. And leave a comment about what you think is the best part of the patch. Alright, so let's get going. This will be a bit of a smaller patch, as we will get into later. They are kind of saving up the content for every third patch or so right now. So our main feature of this patch is the weekly quests that we were going to get anyway. But I would argue that this is probably the main feature, Sporestruck Charrogg balancing. The poison jets are now going to deal less damage, but increase the poison meter more quickly. If you know anything about Sporestruck Charrogg, you would know that the Spore jets, if they either got stuck on or the Sporestruck Charrogg Aether charged, that it was a bad time. As it says here, you often died just because of how much damage it dealt, rather than dying to poison damage from it. If there were ever a band-aid fix I wanted the most, it would probably have been this. Then we have some sound revisions, as well as a new Iceborne buff icon on your, indicators in the top left. And then they fixed the descriptions of a few things. They have Bladestorm, Weight Strikes. They didn't fix what this is called. Knockout King, Barbed, and Sharpened will now grant a bonus after dodging through attack for the next 5 seconds, as it should. And here is a bug fix that has been in the game since Strikers have released, and this has been brought to their attention numerous times, I would assume, but they just hadn't done anything about it until now. Cyclonic Strike Plate now correctly indicates that it deals only extra part damage, because it only ever said it deals extra damage, but mechanically it only ever dealt part damage. So they have finally updated the description to match what actually happens in the game. For Chain Blades, fixed an issue where Reaper's Dance would hit the air above Behemoths. I really hope that this isn't a tease and this actually fully happened, but I do have my doubts, because this has been happening for quite a long time as well as a couple of Lightbound Koshai fixes and a Valimir tail hitbox issue. A fix to the main attraction room request, as well as the seasonal challenge stuff. They fixed up some general stuff on Conundrum Rocks, as well as part of the glider challenge. They fixed a couple of issues for clipping on the Hunt Pass armor, and then they fixed some descriptions and UI type stuff. And that is patch 1.9.4. It's not a very big patch, and the reasoning for that is sort of explained in the State of Dauntless post from last week. So they go on to say that they decided to make Radiant Escalation happen because it's something that we had been asking for. It's been like a really hot topic ever since the Chronivore was released. Like, why aren't we getting Radiant Escalation exactly? They said they wanted the Radiant content to be a little bit different, but they ended up scrapping all of the Radiant content anyway, because it was the Perfect Strike and Friend Forever stuff was the main content that we got out of that. And we were basically left with Radiant and Elder Behemoths being a shell of themselves, and the Chronivore on the Paradox Breaks, and that was about it. They go on to explain that a large part of the goal for this upcoming year is going to be to fix and improve on what's already in the game, instead of trying to bring out something new in every single patch. I'd say over the past year, they did do a pretty good job of actually fixing the bugs that came along with each bit of new content, for the first couple of weeks, but then after that, it just sort of became a feature of the game if they didn't get to it by then. So there have been quite a few long-standing bugs that they haven't really addressed for a while, and hopefully with more of a focus on bug fixing in between the content patches, that will happen. And they say in the next State of Dauntless, they'll talk about Trials and Heroic Escalation feedback, as well as the new game mode. Yeah, I just figured I would talk about this because they did release this statement last week, and I never got around to it. But then we have the roadmap, and it's mostly just updates. I believe there's only one new thing that's been added to the roadmap since we've talked about it, and that is the seasonal progression system. And they go on to say, the drone and the Perfect Strike abilities were their previous attempts at the seasonal progression stuff, but they want to turn this into a permanent sort of system that will have a new talent tree for us. And they say they want these to be new ways to play and not giving us new abilities or taking away abilities of the behemoths. There is a second thing that was added actually, and that's social and grouping improvements. This will be hopefully fixing issues with the friend system that I have been complaining about for 2 years. I ran into a lot of issues with party matchmaking for people that weren't on my friends list and that I couldn't add on to my friends list. And I've been reporting these sort of bugs to them ever since I became a partner, and they are finally getting around to trying to fix some of them. But other than that, the main thing that we really have to talk about here is the lack of the season tag on pretty much everything here. So we now don't have a tag for Radiant Escalation, the new game mode, the seasonal progression, the new Behemoth, the social grouping improvements, the Heroic Rainbow Crown, and the Valamir improvements. But what this lack of tags on these things mean is that we're probably not going to be seeing these until the 2.0/1.10 update. And what we can hope for is that Radiant Boreus will be ready to go by 1.9.5, as it still has this new Dawn tag. For Radiant Boreus, we've already seen most of the model because it was accidentally added into the game. But seeing as we haven't actually tested Radiant Boreus yet, I kinda doubt that it will be ready 2 weeks from now. So if I had to personally guess, I would say all of these things are probably due to hit around the same time. But a question that I haven't perhaps thought of until like just now is that with Radiant Escalation, are we going to be getting a Heroic Radiant Crown? Or is it going to take them a while to get that sort of thing into the game? Yeah, that is pretty much going to do it for this update video here, guys. Again, 1.9.4 is going to be pretty light on the content, but as you can see, there is a ton of content that is sort of slated for the 2.0/1.10, potentially. And I definitely cannot wait for that. Once again, guys, drop a like for me, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And I've been Trevor, I go by the Mr. Trails, and I will catch you guys next time.